everybody. Zach from Nerd Park here, and thank you for joining us for this extra episode of Reviews in the Park, I guess a bonus episode. And just like Batman v Superman, this special release will be R-rated. We're going to censor it, though, for any younger people that are watching. And in case you didn't watch our spoiler-free review, this video is basically to justify why we gave it a 5 out of 10, and also just to kind of discuss the divisiveness that this film has had, because this is literally a film that people either love or hate. There's no two ways about it, unfortunately. So, in this movie, I've talked about how Batman has a major character flaw. And it's because Batman straight up murders people in this. When he goes to save Martha Kent, he literally takes a gun and shoots the flamethrower pack on the guy's back and engulfs him in flame. That's Batman intentionally murdering someone. He knows that that guy is not going to survive that. And, I mean, that's not even including in the car chase and anytime that he uses bullets that cause massive explosions. I mean, the branding, I can understand the branding. I mean, it's him escalating, it's him trying to make people know that the Batman is here, this is the Batman city. So I completely understand that. But one thing is that Batman doesn't kill. In the Tim Burton movie, yeah, he killed some people. Tim Burton movies, I suppose. In the Schumachers, yeah, he totally killed some people. And even in the Nolan movies, yeah, he killed some people. And when I heard that this was supposed to be the most comic accurate Batman that we'd had, I was like, yes, we're really going to get a comic accurate Batman. And we did. Except for murdering people. Like, he murders the living shit out of people in this. Like, hardcore. And speaking of murder, at the beginning of the movie, when Lois is kidnapped by that terrorist, I just found this out not too long ago. In the Blu-ray release, you'll actually find out that that cameraman that they killed in the desert was Jimmy Olsen. It's a Superman movie, and they just killed Jimmy Olsen. They shot Jimmy Olsen in the face. They killed Jimmy Olsen. He's one of the most iconic characters in all of Superman lore. Come on. And then when Lois gets grabbed by the terrorist, Superman just murders him. Like, he plowed him through walls. Plural walls. No human being is surviving that. Superman is a being that is only supposed to kill if it's necessary. That's why him killing Zod at the end of Man of Steel actually makes sense. But it doesn't make any sense for him to literally just kill a guy they could have used his heat vision on to, make the gun hot and make him drop the gun. Or just use his super speed and snatch the gun out of his hand. Like, Superman can literally walk backwards faster than this dude can react. And I'm just gonna straight up just plow him straight through a bunch of walls and just murder him. Just, dude's paced at this point. As I said before, the first hour and a half of this is completely over-convoluted bullshit. Why did Luthor have to plan for 2 years to get these two to fight? Like, literally all it took for him to get them to fight was actually him, pushing Lois off the LexCorp building and kidnapping Superman's mom. You couldn't... It took 2 years? It took you 2 years to do this. Did not need to take you 2 years. And Jesse Eisenberg, I love you as an actor. You're really awkward. And it's fun. Zombieland, great movie. American Ultra, great movie. And I'm sorry, dude, I know that you gave it your all, but there were some really bad choices made with Lex Luthor, and I don't think that they were your fault. Again, I think that they were Zack Snyder's fault. Style over substance. The way that I like to describe this movie, especially in the first hour and a half, is that it's like you're continuously being brought up to the brink of orgasm, and then you never actually achieve it. Because there's seriously scenes that verge on greatness, and that seem like they're going to lead to something even better in the next scene, and then the next scene it leads to nothing. It leads to nowhere. It's like that house that you hear about that a crazy person built, and you open up a door and there's just a brick wall on the other side because it literally goes nowhere. Wonder Woman is absolutely fantastic. Gal Gadot seriously killed it. I've heard a lot of people really kind of ragging on her that she's just kind of there and she doesn't really do much of anything. But she does have her own solo movie, and they did work her into the plot well by having Lex Luthor have evidence that she is much older than she actually is. That the Amazons of Themyscira are actually kind of a secret, and some like people that don't really want the outside world to know about them. And that's a good thing. Like, this movie actually did a great job of adding Wonder Woman in. She didn't feel like she was just added in last minute. She felt like she was actually there for a reason. And that was absolutely terrific. I'm going to bring up the dream sequences. Now, there's 3 big dream sequences in this. I guess maybe 4 if you count the weird-ass inception that happened in this. The first one happens at the very beginning of the film, where you get Batman's origin reenacted for you yet again, and then he falls into a pit of bats, and the bats swirl around him, and he's all scared, and he's like, oh wait, bats are kind of cool. And then, like, somehow through, like, the healing power of, like, bat, like, he just like, gets carried up in this, like, little tornado of bats. And I know that it's supposed to symbolize the ascent of Batman, but I kind of felt like it was poorly placed. This movie's supposed to be a sequel to Man of Steel, and it's literally all about Batman. But, I mean, they are introducing the character, so it is an understandable reason to do it. The second dream sequence, where Bruce actually goes and puts flowers at his parents' grave, and then that bat demon, like, bursts through the damn wall and grabs him, that scared the shit out of me. I really did not see that coming, to be completely honest. And actually, I thought that one was really effective. It's literally a great dream sequence for Bruce Wayne to have. Now we get to the desert dream sequence, which to me was poorly planned, poorly executed, poorly shot, poorly paced, and it's not great for several reasons. The average moviegoer doesn't know the idea behind that Omega symbol cut into the earth, and the open fire holes, the hellspore pits that are in the earth, and they don't know the significance of the parademons. They don't know that those are symbols of Darkseid. It's just they're there. And they're there to make things look ominous. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it is ominous in this, but it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why that decision was made. It just doesn't make sense. To me, if I was the studio, I would have been like, no, do not put that in there. Or put something different in there. And then when Bruce actually wakes up from it, when Superman goes to basically punch his heart out, he's greeted by a portal and the Flash hanging out of it, saying that's what's going to happen if you don't save her. Him losing her is the turning point. Oh no, I came back too soon. You don't understand what's going on. And I literally, in the theater, said out loud when that happened. Because it's a completely unnecessary thing. It's doing nothing but teasing the next movie. It's doing lip service to itself, and that doesn't make sense. It's just like when you actually get to see Aquaman and the Flash and Cyborg. Now, don't get me wrong, the Flash scene was okay. I don't really understand how or why when he gets done moving there's still lightning bouncing all over the place, because that's not really depicted anywhere to my knowledge. Cyborg was actually a pretty cool scene, including that really weird looking mother box, which again is something that people won't know, but it's kind of a cool Easter egg for us. And it's kind of a cool Easter egg that doesn't really interrupt the pacing of the film. I mean, the scene as a whole does, the metahuman scene, but the mother box itself does not. And then the Aquaman scene is kind of cool, but he acts like he's never seen humans before. And I don't know, that scene just really seemed to drag for some reason. Like, they were like, behold the majesty of Aquaman, when Aquaman has been a joke to everyone for basically ever. Now, I don't think Jason Momoa is going to treat him that way. I think that actually Aquaman's going to be quite the badass. We're going to get the new 52 version of Aquaman, where he's just awesome. But this one, it was just like much slower than the other ones, and it was a little weird. Now, those scenes in their entirety, those metahuman scenes, those should have been a mid or post-credit scene. They really broke the rhythm of the film, and rhythm is important in almost everything. Rhythm is important not just in music, it's important in golf, it's important in exercise, it's important in sports, and it's important in film as well. You need good pacing, and it broke the pacing, because those scenes are very slow. Whereas everything that was going on before and after them seemed to be going much faster. And I can understand having a break from the action and like going. Okay, we're going to pull back, and then we're going again. But this was like, okay, we're going to go, and we're going to bring it way back. In fact, we're actually going to reverse a little bit, and then we're going to go again. Those scenes kind of seemed to take forever. And they were nothing, again, but a teaser to the next movie, to Justice League, which Zack Snyder's going to do. And Zack Snyder is more than likely going to up again. And I hate to say it. Batman v Superman is a movie that I really wanted to love. And I know that many of my colleagues really wanted to love. This is the movie that we've been waiting for forever, but it's not the movie that we got. I mean, to kind of quote a better film, it was not the film that we deserved, but I guess the film we needed right now. I don't really know how else to put it. There are a couple other things I want to mention really quick. The Batmobile is absolutely phenomenal. That thing is badass. Driving through brick walls, driving through train cars, driving through boats. Yeah, boats. On land, it's driving through boats. It's just such an awesome vehicle, and it's such a different design from what we've seen, and yet it's still instantly recognizable as a Batmobile. It's like if the Schumacher Batmobiles and the Tumbler had a baby, and it's really good like that. Jeremy Irons is absolutely fantastic as Alfred. I love how he's cynical towards Bruce, like the entire time. It's just absolutely fantastic. Now, thinking about the actual fight scenes, the actual fight scene between Batman and Superman is amazing, but there's one moment in particular that I really want to mention. When Batman is getting ready to kill Superman with the kryptonite spear, and Superman's mother, Martha Kent, is being held captive by Lex Luthor's men, Superman looks at Batman and says, "Save Martha." And I am a big Batman fan. Batman is easily top 3 of my favorite DC characters. Those of you that have listened to us or have heard me rant and rave know that Swamp Thing is my number 1. Batman is number 2. Spectre is probably number 3. But that Save Martha, I didn't realize until that moment that their mothers have the same first name. And to me, that was the moment that you should have gotten. Like, you got the flashback to his parents being murdered, and that was perfect. Everybody knows the origin of Batman. We don't need it rehashed again. We really don't need it told to us again. Like, if you don't know that Batman is just basically a rich orphan, then there's kind of something wrong there. That was such a huge and really powerful moment. It's the moment that snapped Bruce out of his hate boner over Superman. It's so stunningly important. That should have been the scene where we got the dream sequence of him falling into the pit of bats and the bats lifting him out of the cave. You know, showing the rise of the Batman. It was just so well done. It was so powerful. And then Batman is even the one that goes and saves her, you know, in a way symbolically being able to save his own mother. Just because of the trauma that he lived through as a child. It was actually a really powerful and awesome scene in a overall lackluster movie. I have one more thing to really say about this movie. As I've said before, Lex Luthor was rather badly done. But there's one thing about him in particular that I find to be completely unforgivable. Because let's be honest, this is a movie, and people are not always going to do things exactly the same as they did in the comics, and that's fine. I completely understand and I completely agree that that is going to and should happen. There should be some license of artistic freedom. But at the end of the movie, when Luthor is in prison and has had his head shaved, finally, would have been so much nicer just to find out that he was bald and was wearing a wig the whole time. And Batman shows up. Luthor tells him that this was basically a signal that he was sending to space, so that something bigger could come. Basically, they took Lex Luthor, one of the most iconic villains in the entirety of the DC universe, and they made him a common flunky. And that's wrong. If there's anything that anyone that has ever read a comic with Lex Luthor in it, they know he is no one's flunky. If he is anyone's flunky, it's only for appearance sake. He's only looking like they're flunkies so that he can go and take them out later. That is crazily wrong. I also lied. I have one other thing. I'm really looking forward to when CinemaSins gets their hands on this movie. I think it's going to be a pretty long and pretty fun episode. So shout out to the CinemaSins guys. I'm sure that you guys will do great when you get your hands on this. So those are basically all the reasons that we ended up having to give Batman v Superman a 5 out of 10. We did like the movie in some respects. Is it an amazing, stellar movie? No. Is it a horrible, wretched piece of shit? Not really. It's a movie that's just kind of something that exists. And unfortunately, the bad really outweighs the good. I would say generously, like 65-35 in the favor of the bad stuff. This movie was kind of tough for me to come and review for you guys. Because I know how passionate some of you are, and how you guys really like this movie, some of you, and how some of you really hate this movie. And I'm sure that some of you watching would have loved to have seen us give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm sure that some of you watching would have loved to have seen us give it a 2 out of 10. But honestly, there's enough good in it to give it a higher score, but there's enough bad in it that we have to give it a lower score. And so we kind of had to stick with the middle of the road, 5 out of 10. It's not the worst movie that we've reviewed, but it's far from the best. Just so far from the best. Just it could have used more rewrites, and honestly, DC is probably playing catch up. Before the comic book movie bubble bursts, they want to try and get their 15 seconds of fame, and they really want to get their money. And if they want to do that, they need to stop and just think. They need to actually put a thought process into these movies. because that's what Marvel did. And if they want to be able to compete with Marvel, they're going to have to. I really want to see a successful movie. I'm really looking forward to the possibility of a Ben Affleck Batman movie where he not only stars in it, but directs it and co-writes it. That is an Oscar-nominated actor, an Oscar-nominated director, and an Oscar-winning writer. Right there. That's 3 Oscars. The man is a powerhouse and is amazing as Batman. You get those 3 things going for you, you're going to get a killer movie. Just a killer, kick-ass movie. It's going to be amazing. And I really have high hopes for the Wonder Woman movie. But unfortunately, I don't have that high hopes for Justice League anymore. It's because of this. I mean, in this movie, we literally experienced the death of Superman. And it was just so heavily telegraphed that just... And we know he's going to be back anyway. They didn't even leave any ambiguity to it. As soon as I saw that he was dead, I was just like, throw him into the sun, he'll be fine. That's exactly how it would have gone. So until next time, everybody, I'm Zach from Nerd Park. Please hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment if you'd like. We'd be more than happy to respond. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, obviously, WordPress, and SoundCloud, where you can listen to our Batman and Superman retrospectives. They were actually a lot of fun, particularly the Batman one. You can also email us at nerdparkpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, compliments, hate mail, I guess, if you really feel the need. Feel free to send it to us. We would love to talk to you guys and get a little bit of feedback about this. So, until next time, everybody, stay nerdy.